This is an all-time favourite in my house, a cottage pie with an Indian twist, a warm and comforting recipe. A simple fusion of aromatic spices commonly found in Indian cuisine infused into a classic British dish. I like to prepare all the veggies before cooking. Cut 8 medium potatoes into cubes. Try to keep the cubes a similar size so they cook evenly. Chop up the mushrooms and the onions. I like to use a chopper to save time. And finally slice the garlic and the chillies. Place the potatoes into a large pot of cold water and season with salt. Cook on a medium heat until they're tender. In the meantime, let's start on the filling. Into a hot pan, add the oil of your choice and the minced beef. Allow it to brown over medium heat. The term cottage pie and shepherd's pie are used interchangeably. There is a distinction. Shepherd's pie traditionally uses minced lamb or mutton as the main meat in the dish, while cottage pie uses beef. The reason for the distinction is that shepherds were associated with sheep farming and cottagers and farmers were associated with cattle. Once the beef is browned, add in the chopped onions and stir. Let the onions soften and then add in the finely chopped garlic and chilli. Let it cook through and infuse into the meat. Season generously with salt and pepper. Add in the chopped mushroom, peas and sweetcorn. A slight detour from the classic carrots and celery. I personally like the umami-rich flavour of the mushrooms complementing the beef. It also helps create a heartier dish without making the dish overly heavy. Ultimately, you can add in any veg into a cottage pie. It's a matter of personal preference. Add in 3 tablespoons of tomato paste and 2 cups of chopped tomatoes. Here I am using the tinned chopped tomatoes. If you prefer, use the fresh tomatoes by all means. Allow them a bit more time to cook down and soften. Add in the following spices you see on the screen. These are all common spices used in most Indian dishes. If you're not a fan of spice, cut down on the chili powder to a 1/4 teaspoon, as you've already added 2 medium green chilies earlier. Pour in 2 cups of beef broth and simmer until the mixture thickens. Add in the final ingredient, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, and let the mixture simmer down slowly on a low flame. Meanwhile, we can make the mashed potato topping. Pick a large bowl, pour in half a cup of milk and half a cup of cubed butter with the cooked potatoes and mash. Season generously with salt and pepper. I cooked my filling in an oven-proof dish, so I'm using the same dish to bake. Spoon the mash over the filling. Don't flatten the mash. Leave the rough edges to crisp up in the oven. This adds a nice texture. This is an optional step. To add extra flavour, pour over 5 to 6 teaspoons of melted butter before baking. Bake in a preheated oven at 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 to 25 minutes, or until the top is golden brown and the filling is bubbling around the sides. Once the cottage pie is out of the oven, let it rest for a few minutes before serving.